Good morning. It is real good to see you all here. It is real good to be here myself. So I have said all too many times, that was a week, wasn't it? Yes, it was. And good to see all of you out there on Zoom land also. Thank you for being here as well. This week was one that I know I soon won't forget. It's one of the big weeks of my life to this point. For each of us here in the sanctuary who live here, not lived, might have been, but it isn't, who live here now, and those of us on Zoom who live here. This was a week with a flurry of decision-making, of activity and emotion. It was a week where we had to make preparations to protect our homes and protect our possessions and make decisions whether to go or stay. And in those decisions, where to go and where to stay. And if you were going, what were you going to bring? And actually, what were you going to save? It was, and I can say this in truth, it was a traumatic week for everyone. And here we are. So thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. For me, the most memorable experience in this week was Wednesday afternoon. I had pretty much finished up what needed to be done here at the church. I was pretty well set at home, and I knew where I was going. I had one foot out the door. I knew what time I was leaving Wednesday afternoon or evening. I was leaving. I went to Neptune's. Y'all know Neptune's down in Gulfport. I went to Neptune's with the idea of having one last lunch. Because at that time, I thought that's what it was going to be. Because if the storm did what it was supposed to do at that time, Neptune's would be no more. And so one last lunch. And I had my favorite thing there, the cheeseburger. They do have the best hamburgers in Gulfport. And they didn't pay me to say that. So I'm having my cheeseburger and watching the weather, and darned if it didn't make a right-hand turn. Totally unexpected. And it's no longer coming here. And I listened and I watched, and I thought about it, and I listened and I watched, had some hamburger, and decided that, no, it is not coming here. And I had the biggest sense of relief that I have had that I can even remember. It was like a weight was lifted off of me. It was a feeling of pure happiness. It was a feeling of joy, knowing that this place where I grew up, this place where I live, this place where most of my history was going to be here, was not going to be swept away in the storm. Knowing that my family would be spared, that all of you in this church would be spared, that we would all not have the experience that's going on right now, 100 miles or less from here. At the same time, I knew that it wasn't God that saved us. God didn't save us. In my mind, in my perception of God, God will not spare one area to destroy another, spare some lives to destroy others. That's not the workings of God. Actually, what saved us was the fickle laws of Mother Nature. Mother Nature, which, as we have seen time and again, we do not understand. But that is what saved us, the fickle laws of Mother Nature. I say that God and Spirit didn't save us because God is love. This is we've been speaking about all service. God is love. And love does not harm. Mother Nature, on the other hand, does what she does according to her laws. Again, which we don't fully understand. And what happens, though, is that God shows up in the midst of it. God shows up in the midst of it all, in the midst of the storm. Spirit was present, and individuals, as they made last-minute or spur-of-the-moment decisions that saved their life and the lives of others. Spirit is showing up in the aftermath of this storm through compassion, through selflessness of individuals, caring for and doing what they can for their neighbors, sharing what they have, no matter how much that is, helping as they can help. Even if it doesn't seem like much, people are doing what they can to help bring a sense of comfort, safety, and hope to those around them. That's how God is showing up in this catastrophe. Now, our friend, Reverend Diane Scribner Clevenger, she posted on one of the minister Facebook pages. And this is some of her posts. Ian was rough here. Worse just north of us where the epicenter made landfall. You know, you've seen the worst images. News does that. What you may not have seen, though, is the love that everyone has been sharing so prolifically with each other. Contagious generosity. Neighbors helping neighbors. Conversations taking place that would never have taken place. Healing graces. They happen in the best of times and in the worst of times. In the worst of times like this. So what I want you to know is I'm fine. She's fine. I'm more than fine. I'm feeling blessed beyond measure because of you, because of life and love and all the places it takes us along the way. Thank you again for your thoughts and your prayers. Please extend and expand them for yourself and for yourself and from right where you are, only as you can do. You are amazing. Thank you for enhancing my life with yours. Always loving delight with you, Diane. That's how love shows up. That's how God shows up, is holding that consciousness that Diane is so good at holding. That, my friends, is where God is in all that. That, my friends, is where we are in all that. We are there in our hearts. We are there knowing that the truth is love, the truth is wholeness. And that in the heart of every individual in the disaster area, the greatest way that God is in the midst of it is in their hearts, is in their love, is in their compassion for each other. And that is the greatest way that Spirit is going to work in this situation. And that we are going to be able to see the blessing come through. Now, we as a church will do what we can to play our part in that blessing. As time goes on, we'll find out how we can best be of help to our sisters and brothers south of us. We will continue to hold them in prayer and in positive thoughts, and we will know the truth for them. We will know the truth with them. We will know the truth that God is in their midst, bringing forth whatever good can be brought. Yesterday, we started October. Woo, October already. Yep, here it is. Countdown begins. First countdown to Halloween, then the countdown to Thanksgiving. And then, ta-da! So October is the month for zeal. Our co-founder says in Mysteries of Genesis, co-founder Charles Fillmore tells us, zeal is a strong force, the urge behind all things, and the impulse to every achievement. It sets in motion all the machinery of the universe to attain the object of desire. I'll say part of that again. Zeal is the strong force, the urge behind all things, and the impulse to every achievement. It sets in motion all the machinery of the universe to attain the object of its desire. And that is what's going to be going on. All the energy, all the machinery of the universe is going to be brought forth with the zeal of humanity. We're going to be seeing the best of humanity. For so many weeks now this year, we have been seeing not the best of humanity. Now is going to be our time to see and to be the best of humanity. And that's what we're going to see play out in the storm's wake. Then it will be our job to see it right in the midst of all the negativity that we are going to see over the screens and hear over the radio and all that, because the media is going to push the chaos, the finger pointing, the blaming, and the negativity. And it will be up to us to hold the high watch, as we spoke of in our World Day of Prayer last month. We will be holding the high watch. It is up to us to follow the commandment of our way, shower, and teacher, Jesus the Christ. His commandment of love your neighbor as yourself. We shall love our neighbor as ourselves. And as we heard in our daily word reading, be the expression and the manifestation of the verse that he gave us. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. This boils down what is ours to do. This is ours to do in this time. This is what we can do as a church and as individuals to bring the blessings from this awful, awful thing. Bring them forth, knowing that with God, all things are possible. And holding the truth of our foundation statement together. Rick, there we go. Let's say that all together. There is only one presence and one power in our lives and in the universe. The good omnipotence. Let's do that again with a little more vigor. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. And knowing that is our job. So it is. God blesses you.